What happens when politics starts creeping into your baby's toy box? JustKass has just sparked a heated debate after admitting that her baby, Suede, is banned from watching Ms. Rachel, the one-figure parents across the internet trust the most. Is this purely about limiting screen time, or is JustKass sending a much deeper political message? Let's break down why one mother's decision has set the entire internet on fire. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Spill the Tea Hollywood YouTube channel where we unpack the behind-the-scenes drama of your favorite creators. Today, we're diving into the strange intersection between children's educational content and political ideology. We all know Ms. Rachel has been a lifesaver for countless parents, but for the Nelson family, the story is different. Before we get into the deep investigation, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the latest influencer news. JustKass's public admission that she cut off her baby's access to Ms. Rachel's content reflects a significant cultural shift, where parenting has become an extension of political identity. Ms. Rachel, historically seen as purely educational content supporting speech development, has now transformed into an ideological line in the sand. The core issue isn't a mother's right to choose what her child watches. It's how that decision was communicated to millions of followers. There's a cognitive dissonance that emerges when an influencer who built her brand on family openness suddenly withdraws from content universally regarded as beneficial, simply because her personal values clash with the creators. When JustKass admitted Suede enjoyed Ms. Rachel but still removed her, the public didn't interpret it as protection, it looked like performative boycotting. This raises the public didn't interpret it as protection, it looked like performative boycotting. Ethical question. Is a baby's speech development and happiness worth sacrificing to preserve ideological alignment? More broadly, this phenomenon highlights how polarized media consumption has become. In the past, figures like Mr. Rogers could be embraced across political spectrums without controversy. But in 2026, any expression of humanitarian support or inclusivity is seen by certain groups as a threat. With her significant influence among conservative communities, JustKass inadvertently reinforces the narrative that children's education must be filtered from the diversity of the real world. Her stance has also been viewed as insensitive to her own diverse family dynamics, especially considering the background of the adopted children in the Nelson family. By rejecting content that promotes inclusivity, there's a growing perception of resistance toward broader social realities. This creates tension between the loving, inclusive family image presented on camera and the exclusive choices made behind the scenes. Ultimately, Suede is just a baby who doesn't understand the complexities of culture wars, yet he has become the first subject of ideological boundaries built in the digital space. This polarization is intensified by the fact that Ms. Rachel has never changed the essence of her content. She remains an educator focused on phonetics and social skills. The shift has occurred in parental perception, where who's behind the screen now matters more than what is being taught. When JustKass distances her child from an effective learning method for external reasons, it sends an implicit message that value doctrine outweighs early cognitive stimulation. Netizens have also pointed out the irony that JustKass remains active on platforms like TikTok, whose algorithms are far more unpredictable, while boycotting Ms. Rachel's highly curated, child-safe content. This inconsistency strengthens suspicions that her actions aren't about digital safety or mental health, screen time, but about loyalty to her ideological circle. It sets a precedent where a child's developmental needs become secondary to maintaining social standing within a political community. Additionally, JustKass's move places added pressure on educational content creators. If every humanitarian stance or acknowledgement of diverse families becomes grounds for boycott, the future of children's content on YouTube risks becoming either sterile or fractured into extreme ideological camps. JustKass isn't simply a mother shopping for toys, she's an opinion leader validating the idea that it's okay to separate children from the outside world if that world doesn't mirror household beliefs. This dynamic reflects how difficult it is to grow up as the child of a major influencer in the modern era. In his babyhood innocence, Suede has become an unwitting symbol of cultural resistance. Every choice Cass makes, however domestic it may seem, is a political statement that will linger in the family's digital footprint. The growing tension has prompted many parents to ask, Are we raising emotionally and socially intelligent children or simply replicas of our own unfinished biases? The gap between Suede's educational needs and JustKass's personal ambitions creates a parenting paradox that's hard to ignore. On one hand, the Nelson family frequently showcases a child-centered domestic life. On the other, there appears to be a strict filtering of reality that could limit their child's horizons. From an early age, when Ms. Rachel uses her voice to advocate for children's basic rights in places like Sudan or Gaza, she is modeling global empathy, something many view as a noble value, yet which JustKass and her conservative circle may interpret as unwanted. Political intrusion. This has sparked broader discussions about a child's agency under the constant spotlight of social media. Suede has no voice to say he misses Ms. Rachel's songs that helped him learn new words. Instead, he becomes an object within a narrative of guarded parenting constructed by his mother. The JustKass phenomenon demonstrates how an influencer's personal branding can come at the expense of their children's freedom to explore the world without ideological burden. Moreover, her decision seems to give her followers a green light to do the same, creating information bubbles for the decision seems to give her followers a green light to do the same, creating information bubbles for the peons, then bubbles for the Dion seems to give her followers. Next generation. If a mother with millions of followers openly signals that ideological disagreement outweighs educational quality, we may be heading toward a future where children are not taught to understand a pluralistic world, but instead to judge who is worthy of being heard and who must be silenced. This tension won't end with a doll placed back on a store shelf. It symbolizes a larger battle within the social media industry, where the integrity of a creator like Ms. Rachel is pitted against the group loyalty of an influencer like JustKass. As long as the line between private life and public agenda remains blurred, every action Cass takes will be viewed as strategy to strengthen her fanbase, even if that means sidelining the genuine interests of her one-year-old child. On the ruthless stage of social media, ideological comfort appears to have become a far more valuable currency than open-mindedness. The evolving digital sentiment is no longer just criticism of parenting choices, but suspicion of moral performance at play. JustKass, with her influence and luxury, appears to be building a fortress that not only limits Suede's screen exposure, but also shields him from the diverse world represented by Ms. Rachel. There is a sharp irony in a public-facing content creator who thrives on openness choosing exclusivity when confronted with values that challenge her comfort zone. Failing to separate a teaching method from a teacher's political affiliation is a dangerous regression in early childhood education. If every parent followed JustKass's lead, rejecting knowledge or skills simply because they dislike the educator's personal stance, we risk raising a generation in intellectual isolation. Suede, silent in his infancy, becomes a quiet witness to how genuine affection for a song or character can be extinguished by adult prejudices that have yet to be resolved. The long-term impact of this action also touches on the psychological aspect of community trust. For mothers who look up to JustKass as a role model, boycotting Ms. Rachel could be seen as a new standard of proper parenting. This creates social pressure where choosing educational content is no longer based on the quality of cognitive stimulation it provides, but rather as a form of loyalty to a particular political group. At this point, JustKass is not just raising her child, she is attempting to shape a moral benchmark for millions of followers, often at the expense of her child's access to inclusivity. In the end, what we saw on that toy store shelf was not merely a rejected doll, but a missed opportunity to teach that the world is vast, colorful, and filled with people who are different yet equally worthy of love. As long as JustKass prioritizes validation from her ideological circle over Suede's natural curiosity, she will remain trapped in the same dilemma. Is she raising a free individual, or simply molding a smaller version of herself, one shaped by limitations and suspicion toward the outside world? Ultimately, what happened on that toy store shelf isn't just about a doll being placed back, or about a mother's screen time choice. It is about the loss of a child's innocence in the middle of adult ego battles. We are witnessing an era in which a baby's laughter and curiosity about the world must pass through an increasingly strict political filter. JustKass may believe she is protecting Suede, but there is a heavy price to pay, the loss of a child's Chance to learn that the world is wide, diverse, and filled with beautiful differences. Ms. Rachel is merely a symbol, but this controversy serves as a mirror for all of us. Are we building bridges so our children can go further than we ever did, or are we constructing tall walls that only allow them to see our own shadows? Behind the luxury vlogs and camera-ready smiles lies a small tragedy where a baby's genuine voice is drowned out by the noise of parental ideology. Friends, thank you for staying with me through this weighty discussion. Conversations about children's futures always leave both warmth and heaviness in the heart. In the end, our children will not remember our ideologies. They will remember whether we gave them the space to love the world honestly. I want to hear your voices, but I ask that you speak with empathy. Do you believe there should be boundaries where politics does not enter children's worlds? Share your sincere thoughts in the comment section. Let's make this space one for learning, not for judging. Don't forget to hug your little ones or younger siblings today. Teach them to see the world with eyes full of love, not prejudice. If you found today's discussion meaningful, please click subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Let's continue seeking truth with gentle hearts. This is Spill the Tea Hollywood Channel signing off for now. Stay a light to those around you, and I'll see you in the next video.